Hello, Mr. Goodner.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. So, the first question I would like to ask is, what steps do you go through as an AP to prove a student has done something, like something wrong, or?
Gotcha. Okay, so kind of depends on where it took place. If it was out in the hallways, I have cameras and I can look and see what happened that way. Um, but we always interview. We identify as many people as we can who
Mhm.
were around the situation, and we interview them and get all the stories. Usually, what you find is true is the accuser, whether that's a teacher or another student, their story is true from their perspective, and the alleged perpetrator, their story is true from their perspective, and but the actual truth, the factual truth, is usually a combination of both of those things. So that's when you got to interview everybody you can and kind of piece together what actually happened.
And number two, how many witnesses do you guys usually go through or would need to prove?
It completely depends on the situation. If I only have one witness, I have one witness. If it's a whole classroom full of people, we really just concentrate on the people who are right around whatever happened. Um, Even if it's a big blow up at the front of the classroom, that kid who's in the back of the classroom, while he saw whoever yelled or did something, while he saw that, he didn't see all the stuff that led
Yeah.
up to him. So I'll start with the people who were right around it, and then I'll interview more as necessary if it's not getting cleared up for me.
And our parents contacted the first time if, let's say, it's not a major accident, if it's a minor accident, or do you guys usually just pull the student aside, or?
Again, depends on what it is because some people think they got called down by the principal when we talk to them in the hallway. Um, if I talked to you in the hallway, said, "Hey, stop saying that," I'm not even going to remember 2 minutes later that I talked to you. Okay, it's just stop cussing in the hallway and drive on. And so no, I wouldn't contact a parent. But if we pull you into the office, we at least make an attempt. We call every phone number that's in Skyward and we send emails. So if we haven't got a hold of somebody on the phone, we'll send an email. But yeah, we contact them, or at least attempt to, every time we talk to a student.
And what happens if it's on video? Do the same steps occur, or do you just go by the video and whatever happens?
The video can show you the big things of what happened. So, like if it's a fight, the video is going to be pretty clear there was a fight. If I stole that bright orange backpack out of the hallway, the it's going to show that I stole the bright orange backpack. Um, what the video can't show me is anything that
That
led
led up
up
to.
to something. So, it might show that I shoved you in the hallway, but what it can't show me is
Is
that you
walk.
just threatened me and I was really
Yeah.
worried for my safety. So we would still interview. Uh, again, depending on the situation. If it's clear cut, you picked up the backpack and walked off, I don't need to interview anybody, I've
Yeah.
got it. But if your defense is, yes, I shoved that guy, but he just said he was about to punch me in the face, then I have to interview anybody who was standing right there. And if I find out, yeah, he said he was going to punch him in the face, I'm still going to counsel with you and talk about what to do in situations, but we're not going to punish you for shoving the kid in the hallway. You felt like you were about to get punched in the face, so
Yeah.
we're going to take that into account.
Okay. And does the punishment depend on what happened, or is it you get the same treatment no matter?
A little bit of both stuff like skipping class. You're going to get after school detention. The reason that one's just always the same is because I'm not only are you having to suffer a consequence for missing class for skipping class, but I also am getting you to do attendance recovery
Oh, your
because you don't
hours.
get your credits if you don't have attendance recovery done. So it's not going to matter the circumstances. I've got to get you in there and get your attendance recovery. But most other things, it's a case by case. Now there's a few options we have. So no matter what the case was, if you do action X, you are going to get W, Y, or Z consequence. But I get to pick depending on those
On how
circumstances.
severe the
And
situation is.
sometimes I mean, we take everything individually, and so there are times that what you're going to get is a firm talking to, and what I really need to do is take you over to the counselor and come up with a plan for you to cope with some stressors that you're going to face on a regular basis. If that plan's not working, so if I'm seeing you again in my office for the same thing, well, yeah, then we're just going to get whatever discipline consequence comes with that.
And are they able to like still play? Oh, if someone goes to ADC, how long do they normally stay?
That depends. There are discretionary placements, and that means it's our discretion. We have decided that the best thing for that student is to go to the alternate discipline center, and that would be for repeated behavior. So we've tried the counselor. We've tried, obviously, called home. I told you that already. We've talked to mom. We have put some discipline consequences in, and nothing is changing your behavior. And you're disrupting the school day for 2,100 other kids, you're going to go to ADC. And those placements are 30 days. Then there are some things that the state has said are mandatory placements, and those are 60-day placements at ADC. Then there's a few things that the felonies, they're Title V felonies. You skip ADC and you go to the Juvenile Justice Center for 90 days.
Oh, okay. If someone goes to ADC, are they still able to play sports after they have went?
That's really up to the athletics department and that particular coach. The general answer is yes. Now they may have to earn their way back on. Now I will tell you, getting on the team in the future, like dance, cheer. If you go to ADC, you're not on the team that next year. It's not happening. But that's up to the individual programs.
Okay, and do you guys decide whether or not they play if they're still in ADC, if they try to play, if they try to still play a sport?
They're not allowed to play while they're assigned to ADC. They're not allowed to come on this campus while they're assigned to ADC.
Okay. And if a student is expelled, can they come back if they reach an agreement with a counselor or an AP or the principal?
Well, I have to ask you what you mean by expulsion.
If they're just expelled from the school.
Okay. We don't actually expel anymore because what the word expulsion means is kicked out, completely out. Mm-hmm. Kids can be completely kicked out of the district, but that's a district level decision, and no, they wouldn't be able to come back. They are expelled from Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD. We also use the term expulsion when a student is sent to the Juvenile Justice Center. And that process is there's an expulsion hearing at district office. Again, we don't make that decision. They committed a Title V felony. There's an expulsion hearing at the district office. Now, one of us goes as a representative of the campus, but we don't get to make that decision. And then if they're expelled, it's for a period of 90 days for them to go to JJ. Now, when they come back, then the school district again gets to decide whether they're going to come directly back to their home campus or if they're going to go to the alternate discipline center for an additional number of days before they come back. But we don't get to make that decision. We get input, but that's a district level decision.
Okay.
If you're talking about just being removed from sent to ADC, that's not expulsion at all. That is an administrative placement. So yeah, that's a legal term that has a lot of meaning behind it, and we throw it around and we don't use it appropriately.
Okay. And what does it take to suspend a student? Like, how many steps does they have to take to occur?
I have a lot of power in my position, so if what you're asking is what do I have to prove before I can suspend, really nothing.
Or what does the student have to do in order to get to that suspended level?
So I really hold the power. I'm judge and jury, and so I do have a lot of power to suspend students and send them out, send them home for 1 to 3 days. Now that all three of us, the house principals here, we're pretty humble about that power, and we know what we've got. So We don't throw that around. It's hard for us to suspend a student. For one thing, we don't like to punish people. We know, number one, it doesn't feel good to punish someone, but we also know that punishment does not change behavior. Our intent is to change behavior so that that student can become successful after high school. So we do use in-school suspension a lot. The reason we use that, we consider that an intervention because we hired a guy who knows how to make relationships with kids who are in tough spots, knows how to mentor them. He's not a counselor, but he knows how to mentor them through making decisions and things like that. So when I send them to ISS, it's not to get rid of them and hold them away. It's so that they can meet Mr. Tipton and work with him to help make better decisions. So the only time we suspend is when there's a safety issue. If you're telling me you're going to fight this guy and I've tried a few things and you're not backing down, I'm probably going to suspend you because I got to keep that guy safe. If it's gross insubordination, and that would have to be with multiple people. It's not just that you came in my office and yelled at me and don't want to do what I say. It's you've been insubordinate with several staff members. Well, if you're not going to do what we're asking you to do, there's no way I can keep you or anybody else safe. So you're going to have to go home. And then, sometimes as a last resort, I've tried counseling, I've tried in-school suspension, I've tried after-school attention, lunch detention, writing thank you